Hello, and welcome to my early education literacy program. I've done this program in a Prezi style presentation. There's a reason for that. After some debate, I decided that I would choose to present this presentation as a Prezi because the way that Prezi allows for a combination of media formats, I felt that this would best allow me to describe the various components of this project. I like to have a video component to the presentation, and I had originally thought of doing a movie, but I would be challenged in presenting the timeline and the year's progress. Whereas the Prezi allows me to link the websites and presentations to move between text and video and image in a fluent and creative manner. A paper, that would have been a little bit too formal and uninspired for this presentation. The Prezi allows me to be more creative and set the theme of the project as kind of like an interview for myself. I've done Prezis in the past, and I did one for a final project in a previous course, and I've had some degree in success in producing something that I was happy with. By no means am I an expert in this media, but I find it fun, actually. I like to be creative with it. And I like the way that in a Prezi I can choose how this information is displayed and comes to the viewer. Of course, there's disadvantages to this media as well. One is that here in Nunavut, the internet connection is so very, very slow that uploading these videos, these chats that I'm going to be having over the presentation into YouTube is, well, takes a painfully long time. The other thing I feel is that the viewer, when they're finished with the presentation, if they wanted to go back and look at a particular section, they don't necessarily have the same kind of options as if you were to go to a chapter reference or a table of contents, or even in a movie, you might be able to go back to a certain point in the movie that brought up some particular interest for you. In the Prezi, you kind of have to go back to the main page and kind of do an overview and take a look at where you want to go, or run through the presentation again, which may not necessarily be the best way of doing it. So I think that one of the flaws in the Prezi is being able to go back and reference particular spots of interest for you. The other thing with Prezi is that I think that could be negative is that the more that they're used, I think the novelty wears off. The jumping around and the moving can be somewhat distracting to some viewers, especially if it's overdone. You want to just kind of do slight movements, as I understand. Yeah, the novelty can wear off on it, so hopefully that hasn't happened here, and I'll be able to kind of theme everything together and maybe use a little bit less jumping around and more content. But I like the way that you can marry. You can have a video blog like this, and then off to the side of this in the Prezi presentation, you could see links that pop up to different references that come. So if the viewer wanted to take further initiative and take a look at an article or review a different YouTube video, another presentation that kind of joins into that, you can do that. So you can actually see the citation and the references coming out as they go along, supporting the information that's contained inside the video. And I like that because it's also in a paper style when you just have the bracketed. Once you get used to reading signed or more kind of cited papers, it becomes easier, but that can be kind of distracting to the sentence and to the flow. I think that the Prezi actually reflects the diversity that's going to be produced within inside a literacy program. We're going to have a wide variety of activities that the students are going to be doing throughout the year, as well as themes and topics. And I think that the Prezi kind of reflects that. It's a bit of a journey, and yes, there's some jumping around and mixing and matching and going up and down and forward, big picture part until you reach the conclusion, and then you realize that you've just amalgamated all this different information throughout the year, and again throughout the Prezi. So it's kind of a representation of the year in of itself. I think Prezis are enjoyable, and yeah, hopefully you will too. So that's my rationale for using it, and enjoy the show.